unclear whether Carter's death is a hate crime, which it clearly was, because nobody that loves you is going to detach your head from your body. But okay, we have to make this more complicated than it's supposed to be. His killing has opened old wounds regarding racially motivated deaths in Mississippi, and they're not old wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this literally happened just right in Atlanta with Ahmaud Arbery from 18.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so this is a story that I heard about recently, and it's absurd, it's ridiculous, and if you ask me, it's something that's being encouraged not only by most of the population at large, but also the non-FBA, non-ADOS, non-Freeman groups in America. This is what somebody like Ron DeSantis or somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene would call being not woke. All right, because being not woke is somebody who appreciates, benefits, and continues the traditions of anti-Black racism and oppression in the United States. And that's what this particular crime appears to be from what has been reported thus far. This is a crime that would make the ancestral energy of the United States extremely proud, okay? Family says Black man was found decapitated in Mississippi and believes he was quote unquote targeted by a lynch mob, right? Now, we all know that if Black people get justice for a crime in the United States, it's something that's looked at as the visiting team losing. When Ahmaud Arbery got justice for his hunting down and slaughtering, people looked at that and were upset and said, the United States is getting too woke. And what they meant by the United States is getting too woke is that they feel that there should be no impunity for punching on America's punching bag, which is us. But what we need to do is solidify ourselves so that when people attempt to punch that punching bag, they break their hand. All right. This unfortunate young man's name was Rasheem Carter. He was 25 years old of Fayette, Mississippi. He was last seen alive on October 2nd of 2022 at a Super 8 hotel in Laurel. All right. And he even looks younger than 25, if you ask me. This guy he has a very youthful appearance. The family of a Black man whose dismembered body was found in Mississippi a month after he disappeared last year is now calling for a federal investigation. The same federal body that has refused to give the group of people who have the highest incidence, highest increase, and highest occurrence of hate crimes against them hate crime protection. Let me ask you guys a question in the comment section or in the live chat. Make sure that you guys answer this question for me. What group of people has the highest incident, occurrence, and increase in hate crimes in the United States in the most recent statistics? Rasheem Carter, who is 25 of Fayette, Mississippi, was seen last on October 2nd, 2022 at a Super 8 hotel in Laurel, according to a missing persons report from the Laurel Police Department. According to his family, a day before Carter vanished, he sought help from police after telling his mother that 3 truckloads of white guys were trying to kill him. Tiffany Carter said at a March 13 news conference, according to WLBT. Police did not help him. He asked for help, but they did not help him, Tiffany said per WAPT. And that's because those police officers were probably either part of the lynch mob or they were probably affiliated with people in the lynch mob. And when he went to police, the police more than likely gave his location and information to the individuals in the lynch mob. Okay. On November 2nd, 2022, remains confirmed to be Carter's were found in a wooded area of Taylorsville, Mississippi, which is about 21 miles away from where he was reportedly last seen, according to a Facebook post from the Smith County Sheriff's Office. The statement said that authorities had no reason to believe that foul play was involved. So he was dismembered, but they don't believe that there was any foul play involved. Them saying that they don't believe any foul play was involved is part of the foul play that's facilitating crimes like this. The statement didn't share details about what led up to the discovery, and it didn't include information about Carter's cause of death. Smith County Sheriff Charlie Crumpton did not immediately return People's request for comment on Tuesday. In an attempt to figure out what happened to her son, Tiffany sought the help of civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who shared additional information this week about Carter's death after obtaining an independent autopsy. Tiffany's sister, Felicia Cajo, launched a GoFundMe campaign last year to help the family's pursuit of attaining justice, the page states. And here's the thing, people like to complain about Ben Crump and call him an ambulance chaser, and while people may not like his methods, my question is, how many people out there who are complaining about Ben Crump got this independent report or sent the family money to get independent report or are offering legal services that they have a bar exam to for them pro bono to help them get justice? If there's not anybody doing that and Ben Crump is the only person that's available to do it, I'm kind of confused as to why people just go off the rails on Ben Crump. People can say that they do or don't like a person's methods very simply and civilly and keep it moving, especially if they're not contributing to getting justice for a lot of these families where an individual has lost a loved one. It's kind of baffling and bewildering, the mannerisms that people have. So now here it says the autopsy findings, Crump said, suggest that Carter was murdered and calling it not a natural death, the Associated Press reports. His head was severed from his body. Yeah, when did somebody's head just fell off and that was a natural cause of death? Crump told reporters Monday, per WLBT, his vertebrae, his spinal cord, was in another spot they discovered away from his severed head. They have recently found remains that they believe are also Rasheem Carter at another part of where he went missing. According to Tiffany, the family believes he was the victim of a hate crime. He was diltfully and gainfully employed, just trying to make a living for his young child, and ends up dead, chased by what we believe to be a white supremacist lynch mob, attorney Carlos Moore added, per WLBT. Crump asked the Department of Justice to construct an investigation into Carter's death, saying that law enforcement failed to act when Carter allegedly told police he feared for his safety, according to WAPT. However, Laurel Police Chief Tommy Cox, who spoke to NBC News, said Carter didn't ask for help before he went missing. The chief reportedly said they quickly turned over the investigation to Smith County once they learned it was outside of the department's jurisdiction. At a news conference, Crump called Carter's death a nefarious act. This was an evil act, NBC News reports. Crump added, somebody murdered Rasheem Carter, and we cannot let them get away with this. And I agree. And if you ask me, sometimes methods that require Ben Crump in front of a judge, in my opinion, are not the appropriate methods to send the message that's necessary to these heathens. The investigation, led by Smith County Sheriff's Office with assistance from MBI and FBI, remains ongoing. And if you ask me, more than likely they're going to stall this investigation out. It's going to remain ongoing, and what's going to end up happening is the same thing that happened to Tamir Rice. They're going to push it and push it and push it and push it until it's outside of the statute of limitations, and then what they're going to do is say that they're not able to do anything about it. Okay, so now what we have here is an article from the Washington Post. And this article says a black man was dismembered. His mother says he told her white men were chasing him. So this is an all-American, traditional, adoso, non-woke, ancestral crime that the majority population of the United States has a tradition in doing, if all of the reporting is 100% accurate, which in most cases, when things like this happens, if anything, things are left out because the mainstream media is embarrassed, because in most cases, the mainstream media who's broadcasting this kind of stuff, as well as the reporter, is part of the group of people who's doing these kind of crimes. And they are not allowed to perpetuate negative messages about themselves in their media. All right. The family of a black man is calling for a federal investigation into his death after local authorities in Mississippi said that they did not suspect foul play after the man's body was found dismembered. Police say his wounds may have been caused by an animal. Yeah, his head removed by an animal. I didn't know that lions and tigers, I didn't know that those were native to Mississippi. Rasheem Carter, who is 25, called his mother for help in early October, telling her that a group of white men in 3 trucks were chasing him and yelling racial slurs at him in Laurel, Mississippi. And I bet you all 3 men were father and son, or father, son, and nephew. His mother, Tiffany Carter, said at a Monday news conference in Jackson, his remains were found in the woods roughly 20 miles away outside of Taylorsville, Mississippi on November 2nd, after he had been missing for about a month. The Smith County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office said the next day that it had no reason to believe that foul play was involved. So now I'm going to ask the common sense people in the comments section, do you all feel, based on everything that we've read so far, that foul play was involved? If you feel that foul play was involved, give me a thumbs up. If you feel that foul play was not involved, give me a thumbs down and let me know how somebody's head can be removed and their spinal cord in a different location without foul play. Okay. Carter's family and a civil rights attorney, Ben Crump, criticized authorities Monday over the investigation in what Crump said appears to be a hate crime. Crump noted Carter's autopsy completed February 2nd found that his head was severed from his body and other parts were in different locations. So now here's my question. How did that happen? If there was no foul play involved, then the question becomes, how did these things occur? How did that happen? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. So now we have the dilemma of trying to figure out an answer to this particular question. He called Carter's death a nefarious act, an evil act, and urged the Justice Department to take over the investigation as a civil rights case. Somebody murdered Raheem Carter, and we cannot let them get away with this, Crump said at a news conference. There is nothing natural about this. It screams out for justice. We have, in Mississippi, a lynching. Smith County Sheriff Joel Houston told the Washington Post on Tuesday that he welcomed the Justice Department to get involved with the investigation, saying there's nothing to be swept under the rug or nothing in hidden nature. Houston, whose department has overseen the investigation into Carter's death, told the Vicksburg Daily in November that Carter did not indicate to authorities that he was in danger when he arrived at the Taylorville Police Department after he called his mother. So then what did he do when he went to the police station then? Just asked him where the nearest gas station was? What did he do? Why would somebody go to the police department and not say anything? Have you guys ever heard of anything so absurd? But that's the thing. These people will literally say anything and then expect to not be questioned about it. Okay. Houston told the Post that there's no evidence to substantiate any of the family's claims that he was murdered, other than the fact that Mississippi is a Confederate state, other than the fact that lynchings are an American tradition, and other than the fact that in the same region, these kind of crimes happen with family involvement all the time, as well as law enforcement being tied in with them. There's no indication that someone killed him. Again, aside the fact that his head is removed from his body, Houston said. The evidence we do have does coincide with what animals would do to a body. Yeah, what kind of animals? There's no animals that would tear a person's head off, you know what I'm saying, in the woods of Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi Bureau of Investigation spokesperson Bailey Martin told the Post that the agency is assisting him in the case, but that she could not comment further on the investigation. An FBI spokesperson did not immediately respond to a request for comment. An agency spokesperson told NBC News that the agency is not involved in the case. Carlos Moore, an attorney representing Carter's family, told the Post that the Justice Department Civil Rights Division confirmed to him that the case is now on its radar. It's just on its radar. That doesn't necessarily mean that they've taken the case up. It's just simply on the radar. This is the most heinous crime in Mississippi in my lifetime, Moore said. While it remains unclear whether Carter's death was a hate crime, which it clearly was because nobody that loves you is going to detach your head from your body, but okay, we have to make this more complicated than it's supposed to be. His killing has opened old wounds regarding racially motivated deaths in Mississippi, and they're not old wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this literally happened just right in Atlanta with Ahmaud Arbery. From 1877 to 1950, more than 4,000 black men, women, and children were lynched in cities and towns across the country. And this is one of the reasons why white people are ashamed of critical race theory and black history, because it'll be like a family reunion and a photo album of all of their families when we look back into who was committing these heinous, animalistic, disgusting crimes. From 1877 to 1950, more than 4,000 black men, women, and children were lynched in cities and towns across the country. Now, if you listen and let conservatives tell it, they'll tell you that these were all criminals who were found guilty by law of doing something and that these quote-unquote killings were justified. During that period, Mississippi recorded 581, the highest number of lynchings recorded by a state. And the entire state is being lynched through the Jackson water crisis. Between 2000 and August 2021, there were at least 8 suspected lynchings of black men and teenagers in Mississippi, the Post reported. A native of Fayette, Mississippi, Carter was working a short-term contracting gig as a welder almost 100 miles away in Taylorsville to save money to reopen his seafood restaurant that had closed during the pandemic, his family said on Monday. And as far as when you're working those kind of jobs like welders, those are those kind of jobs that white people, white men in particular, tend to get extremely territorial about. They feel that those jobs are jobs that should be not only passed down to them, but their sons and grandsons and great-great-grandsons and people that haven't even been born yet. So how dare you be black and work one of those jobs, because those jobs are for the good old boys and for the people of the community only. So anytime you simply just get hired, they'll go on a nonstop tirade and say that you're a diversity hire, you weren't qualified, you're not the best guy for the job, and then attempt to do the corny, weak workplace bullying. And I'm sure that's probably one of the things that was going on with him at this job. And if I'm not, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of those welders from that company that he was working for, some of those backwoods swamp people, were some of the people who were involved in using farm tactics like a lot of these people do in the rural areas in dismembering his body. Because let's not get it twisted. The same tactics that are used for hunting and skinning and dismembering and breaking up animals that you hunt or that you use on a farm are the same tactics that are used when these people commit familicide, kill their wives, or commit a murder and attempt to hide the body. That's one of the reasons why when it comes to surviving the suburbs, another thing that makes it difficult to survive the suburbs are things like septic tanks, bone grinders, and many of the different appliances that you'll find in a rural area, because these people hide and decompose and accelerated decomposed bodies in those things. The seafood, or also they have animals like pigs where after they put you in a bone grinder, they can put your remains in a trough and have their animals eat it naturally, which is one of the reasons why there's, in many cases, animals around. Scavengers in most cases, like dogs. Seafood restaurant was named after Callie, his 7-year-old daughter, according to the family. But his work there did not last long after he got into an argument with the business owner at the site and fled in fear for his life, his mother told reporters. And I told you it was one of those good old boy things. Oh, you got a problem, boy? And a bunch of dudes with long beards and flannel shirts came out. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, this dude wasn't strapped up, because at a young age, you don't necessarily know that the world is correct yet. On October 1st, Tiffany Carter received a text message from her son saying that he and the business owner, whom she did not name, were not seeing eye to eye, and that the business owner would be responsible if anything happened to her son. Yet and still, the business owner, who probably employs a lot of the police's friends or sons, is not a person of interest or hasn't even been interviewed yet. I'm too smart, Mama Carter wrote to his mother. She said, he's got these guys who want to kill me. He also called her to let her know that he had been chased, she said at the news conference. My son told me there were 3 truckloads of white men after him trying to kill him, she said. Marnie Tompkins, Rasheem Carter's aunt, told the Jackson Advocate that her nephew called in panic mode. After Tiffany Carter advised her son to go to the police, she did not hear from him, she said. His mother reported him missing to the Laurel Police Department on October 2nd. Laurel Police Chief Tommy Cox told the Post that family members who filed the missing persons report indicated that Rasheem Carter was staying at a hotel in Laurel as part of his work. We put it out that he was last seen at the hotel, but it was fairly obvious that he was seen in Taylorsville, Cox said, adding that surveillance footage verified that Carter was at a store in the town. And again, let me know if anybody knows about these areas. Give me some information about the area. Is this area a rural or suburban area? Because again, if it is, imagine if it's difficult for the members of that community to survive the suburbs, just imagine how difficult it'll be for America's most hated class of people to survive the suburbs. When Carter arrived at the Taylorville Police Department, he did not indicate that he was in danger, the Smith County Sheriff told local media last year. Now, here's my question. I want to ask you guys this in the comment section. Do you all believe that he never indicated that he was in danger when he talked to the police? My question is, what did he go to the police for then? That's the question. Why would he just go to the police? What did he go to them for? They offered him a phone call and he said that he had a phone, and they offered him a charger, but the charger that was available didn't fit his phone. So they didn't have multiple kinds of chargers at the police station. They didn't have an iPhone charger. They didn't have a Android charger. They only had one kind of charger at the police station. That's interesting. Houston said to the Vicksburg Daily. A spokesperson with the Taylorsville Police Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Carter's family led their own search parties for about a month in hopes of finding him alive. And notice how when it comes to black people who disappear, the police are not very helpful often. In most cases, it's usually the family that has to launch their own search party. Do you guys notice that? On November 2nd, Carter's decomposing body was found in a wooded area south of Taylorsville. The state crime lab gave Carter's families his head and spinal cord in a box as part of the autopsy findings, Crump said on Monday. They recently found remains they believe are also Rasheem Carter at another part of where he went missing, the civil rights attorney said. There is no timetable for the sheriff's office investigation, Houston said, but he emphasized that authorities were working hard on the case. If someone is believed to be involved in Carter's death, we want the justice as well, he told the Post. No, they want to congratulate them. You know what I'm saying? That's what the police department, the sheriff's office wants to do. Tiffany Carter, wearing a t-shirt reading "In Remembrance of Rasheem Carter," vowed that the family would not rest until they got answers about who killed her son. Not just not get answers, get justice. You know what I'm saying? That's the media's job, to get answers. You, family, need to get justice. You know what I'm saying? They thought this was going to be a child no one cared anything about, she said in the news conference. They're clearly mistaken because he was somebody. Rasheem Carter was remembered by family members and friends as a loving father who worked hard to provide for his young daughter. Justice White, Callie's mother, recalled how Carter called every day to talk to his daughter and how they stayed on the phone for hours like they were teenagers. Every day she brings him up, White says. So what we need to do is, if people could share this video out, it would be great if we would be able to get in touch with the family and interview them in a more competent way than what the incompetent media like the Washington Post has done, and actually get some clear-cut information and allow this family to voice exactly how they feel and not necessarily just go with the image that the Democrat media wants to have for people that are victims of things like this. Because as you can see, the Democrat media is not really on this because we're a few weeks away from getting into the political season. So if we can get ahead of this, get in touch with these people, let them get their voices heard and give more information. Everybody share this story, and also everybody be constantly looking. If you hear your coworkers and they know something about this, snitch on them, not just to the family. Get in touch with somebody like Ben Crump directly, not so much the police, because we all know what the police are on. That's how we got to do these kind of things. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button. Share this video out to all of your followers. Make sure you watch it all the way through to the end. Hit the links at the end of the video, subscribe to my backup channels, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right? Peace.